Hello everyone, Richard here at Calvin Wazoo, where musical subgenres are frequently traumatized. Well, this is a recent finds video and bringing me up to date with some recent finds or recent acquisitions and some not so recent, but recent within the last couple of months. And I'm going to get started here with another Chicago band. And this is Piglet and the release Lava Land. Now, Piglet is probably best characterized as a math rock band, as well as being post-punk. But then, that math rock, what the hell is math rock? And, recently I recorded a video in which, for another channel in which I explain that math rock, if you think of regular rock or, mainstream rock, mainstream popular music, the melody and focus of a song is being carried by the lead guitar, could be keyboards or a combination of both, a lead singer, and then you have your rhythm section that is supporting the melody. And I said that the rhythm section is the melody. Now, there is no lead guitar necessarily. While there are sometimes vocals, they don't necessarily become the focus of the song. Well, I'm going to modify that, and that'll get published, in a future date after this particular video. But I'm going to modify that a little bit and say that in math rock, there is no melody, that at least the standard kind of melody that you would expect from popular music, from rock and roll, from what we are accustomed to. Rather, everything is rhythm section. You are hearing the rhythm bass and rhythm support to, theoretically to a song that, could have a lead guitar and some vocals and maybe, a piano melody or something like that, layered on top. But it's not. It's just the rhythm section. So, in a lot of ways, Piglet fits that bill in that when you're listening to the song, there is some, melodic sense to some of the pieces, but it's really just the rhythm section that, underlies any song. So this particular release too, Lava Land, which the original CD was released in 2005 and a vinyl edition was not released until 2014, and it was very limited in, I think, 3 color variants. And then this copy that I have is a remaster, a limited edition remaster that was released in 2021. This is considered the GOAT of math rock, the greatest of all time of math rock. They are from Chicago, and they formed in 2003 by former members of a band called Sayarse. I'm not sure, and I'm unfamiliar with their music, but the members include Asher Weisberg on guitar, Ezra Sanzer-Bell on bass, Matthew Parrish on drums and percussion. And they broke up after this album. So while they toured a little bit and then they got their record deal and they made this record, which is actually an EP, it's not a full album, and then they disbanded. So it is a highly sought after release. I mean, the original 2014 vinyl releases can go for hundreds of dollars. And even this 2021 remaster can be very pricey. And I got lucky. I got really lucky when I saw this in a store for $50. Yeah, $50, you know, it's pricey for a record. But for this one, no. This is a very good deal for this record in absolutely brilliant near mint condition. Super nice cover and also near mint condition. It's on the heavy vinyl. There's the label to go with it. So anyway, yeah, this is the math rock, post-punk, I guess you can also lump it into that category. It opens up with this track one called Bug Stomp, which seems like total rhythmic chaos with polyrhythms all over the place, but it fits together, and you know, it is a cohesive piece. Track two kind of switches gears. It's called Caramel, and it's melodic with this heavy metal guitar riff, refrain that comes in the middle and at the end. Really, really quite good. Then track four on side two, Anthropology Anthology. It starts with this like rhythmic or melodic repetition before it slips into the rhythmic madness that generally makes this band so engaging. So, you know, it hints at the beginning to, you know, like the way, yeah, the way the song Take Five begins, you know, to set up kind of the rest of the song, you know, and then it kind of comes back in at the end. That's kind of how the setup, in my opinion, works with Anthropology Anthology. Overall, the style, Piglet's style, is similar to, probably most similar to Don Caballero. So if you're familiar with Don Caballero, you know, this is very much right in there. There's other math rock bands that kind of vary and also venture into the shoegazy realm of music. You know, bands like Polvo maybe, certainly Slint kind of goes into that category. But yeah, this is just a really fantastic album. And the needle drop I'm going to play for you is the song Little Bubble, Where You Going? Piglet, Chicago band. I hope you get an idea of what that is. And if you're lucky enough to see a copy of this, I would recommend grabbing it. Now, the next record is this one here by Karen Dalton, In My Own Time. So this is this is not an original, excuse me. The OG was released in 1971. This is a 2022 limited Vinyl Me Please edition that is numbered. And this is, Karen Dalton was a singer-songwriter who was part of the Greenwich Village scene in the early 1960s. Her voice is very similar to Billie Holiday. Something that she really didn't care for that comparison. But Bob Dylan wrote, perhaps in his autobiography, Chronicles 1, anyway, he wrote that she had a voice like Billie Holiday and played guitar like Jimmy Reed. And she also played banjo. I learned of Karen Dalton, never heard of her until, this year recently, from Katie at the channel Chords Records. And she spoke highly of the record. She also gave the warning that her voice is not necessarily for everyone. And, I agree, it's definitely not. But the addition that she said to get was this like gold and black burst. It's got the Light in the Attic label, but it's also a Vinyl Me Please edition. So it's her second album, okay, and that's, I think, pretty much, she was a reluctant participant in the studio. She was noted for being difficult to work with in the studio. And her music is a style of folk and blues. She does covers. She sings other people's songs, but gives it her own character, her own timbre, just her own style. There's, for example, there's the song, I think it's one that everybody probably knows from, How Sweet It Is, a Holland Dozier song that, James Taylor is probably what most people think of, with that song. She definitely, is giving it her own style where, the caesura that you might get in the James Taylor version, you're not getting at all in the Karen Dalton version. She had some addiction issues, and in 1993, she died at the age of 55 of AIDS-related illness. So the tracks really widely vary in terms of my appreciation for them. For example, the opening track is a cover of Dino Valente's Something on Your Mind, and she gives us this very lingering and plaintive sound that really, really works well. Then comes her cover of When a Man Loves a Woman, and I'm not a fan of that song, of her singing style. It really comes off to me anyway like nails on a chalkboard. But then comes up Paul Butterfield's In My Own Dream, which is just this really smooth cover. Her voice lends this authenticity to the drawling blues tempo that she does the song. So yeah, things, for the most part, I find the record quite good. There are, though, just a few songs where it's kind of like, I got to get through this. There's a couple traditional songs that she does. One of them is Katie Krull, and she's playing banjo on this, and it's just really, really brilliant. And then there's Bobby Notkoff, who plays the violin, just provides an excellent touch to it. And other traditional that she does, Same Old Man, this is also on banjo. Again, has a just real authentic sound. Her soul just comes through, both in her singing and her playing. The needle drop I will play for you is her cover of George Jones's song, Take Me.
Take me to your darkest room, close every window and lock every door. darkness no more.
Karen Dalton, she, received many accolades from people like Bob Dylan, but also Nick Cave and others who really admired her. It's a very peculiar style of singing that, you're just not going to really hear from anybody else, even though there is some resemblance with Billie Holiday. All right, so my next record is going to be one that I just, hadn't gotten in my collection yet, and that's the Clash, Combat Rock. This is a 2013 remaster, reissue. The original, of course, is from 1982 with this particular label here. This is, that's the Clash, and side one is great. Side two is meh. That's kind of the way it is with this record, but it is their last good album. And not much really to say about it. The needle drop, everybody plays, the other songs, like everyone you hear, is like Know Your Rights and Should I Stay or Should I Go, Rock the Casbah, Straight to Hell, which is a really great song. But needle drop is going to be from Red Angel and Dragnet.
From a long way away, and I know the fine thing when I see it. See it. For the same reason, no one ever pointed a telescope at the sun. Talking about the Red Angels of NY City. Shot the shot. Who got us tonight? Who shot the shot? Who got us tonight? Not even 5 enforcement agencies can save their own.
Yes. So the Clash. All right. Now this other one, it was another one of these albums where I'm looking at the cover and I'm going, wow, this looks kind of cool. And I do a quick check on, the various, like Discogs and the All Music Guide, just to see what the general rating is on this. Because I bought this at a store that did not have listening stations. And besides, it was a sealed copy because it is a relatively new record. But I decided to, it seemed to be well received, so I picked it up. And all right, the Exaltics, and the title of the record is Das Heise Experiment. There's a better look at the cover. Look at that cover, very kind of sci-fi and dark. Really kind of reminds me of the film Blade Runner. And in fact, the music, too, has this kind of Blade Runner feel. The Exaltics is a pseudonym for German producer Robert Wachowski, who also goes by the name Robert Heise. So Das Heise Experiment, the name of the record. The OG is from 2013. This is a 10-year anniversary remaster that was released in 2023. He founded the Solar One music label with Nico, and I don't know how to pronounce this name, Jagiella, Nico Jagiella, I think. And he has an extensive catalog of releases, but there's not a lot of reviews or information about them. All the track names are in German. So there's the first track is called Neun for 9. Second track is Wolf for 12, 11, 13, 10, 8, 7, 22, 4. 27. Yeah, so that's all the tracks. Now this is dance, house, techno, pretty much, but he's known for his dark acid techno. And this is really, yeah, very kind of dark techno. And if this is what acid techno is, yeah, okay. This release has 10 tracks on it, while the original that was released in 2013 had 8 tracks. So many of the tracks are danceable, but the others are very atmospheric, such as the track Fear. And as I said, yeah, the album's got this real Blade Runner feel to it. And the needle drop that I have for you is that track Fear. It's just got this very dark and ominous, portentous feel at times, but also there are some really good grooves going on. And now my last record for this particular episode is another addition to my collection of Mdou Moctar, and that is the release Anar, which was, and this is an OG, it's released in 2014, limited to 300 copies. This is, so an early second release. The first release was Afalan, and this also, like Afalan, is on Sahil Records. Interesting back cover photo where he's wearing the military garb, which, if you didn't know anything about Mdou Moctar, you might, this would give you the wrong impression, I think, about him. But anyway, this is predominantly acoustic. So he's playing acoustic guitar, but then he also is experimenting with voice modulation with all the vocals. And also, I think, for the most part, I think he's using a drum machine. So this is before he really had put together a band, I believe. But the, I guess it's auto-tuned. I'm not sure if it's auto-tuned, but it's definitely some kind of voice modulation for his singing. And thankfully, he did not continue to do that with future releases. He dabbled with it, and that's fine. There's a couple songs on here that appear on other releases. For example, Dalton also appears on Afalan, which is the first release. And then there's also the closing track is Ibitlan, which also appears on the Niger EP Volume 2, which was released last year, I believe. La Super is on the acoustic guitar. It's got the voice modulation. The Dalton, while on Afalan, does not have the voice modulation. You know, it does here. Same with Ibitlan. The title song, which is Anar, is also on the release Sosame Tamachek. And Sosame Tamachek, it's not, there's no vocal modulation going on, but there is here. The needle drop I'll have for you is the song Kader Etran, and I chose that one because it's got the least amount of vocal modulation or or tinkering going on with it. So give that a listen. I am very glad to have this in my collection now. Certainly would like to be able to get everything by Mdou Moctar. There's a look at the label. It's not a cheap record. I believe I got it for a fair price from a US seller. Most of the time I've seen it available, it's somebody in Europe or even Canada, but mostly Europe, and then shipping just does it in, and they tend to ask for more money in these other places. But yeah, you should be able to get it for around $70. Anything more than that, I think it's even though it's limited to 300 copies, I still think that's, I wouldn't pay a lot more than that, unless it was like really super good condition and, you just have to have it. But anyway, I am glad to have it in my collection. And there's really, I think, one more release that's already out there that I don't have that I would like to bring in with my Mdou Moctar collection. It'll be complete. So there you have it. Hey, leave a comment in the down under. I do appreciate getting those comments. Please give the video a thumbs up, even if you're already a subscriber. It really helps things out. You can find me on Instagram as NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76. I have a Facebook page called Calvin Wazoo, where you can also find my content, the videos I do for my channel here, as well as other music-related videos and articles. So yeah, thumbs up, please remember. And also remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.